So there's been 43 countries, 43 nations out of what? 200 countries total, 190 or so. But 43 to 50, okay? Because some of these were updated recently. But the, 43 countries. So I'll list some of them, and then I'm going to talk about some of their specific sort of timeline. So 43 countries have banned corporal punishment because we should be bound at the altar of children. We shouldn't be beating the shit out of our own legacies, right? The people that are going to carry on our names and our, memories. Seems like, you're going to beat them until they love you? It might work for some people with Stockholm Syndrome. So Sweden, Finland, Norway, Austria, Denmark, Faroe Islands, Greenland, Portugal, Cyprus, including Congo, South Sudan, Mongolia, Bulgaria, Kenya, right? So Sweden, Finland, Norway, the Scandinavian countries, Austria, which is just southern Germany, really. Denmark, which is, the Danes. That little, just little sort of it's a peninsula, right? It's not an island, but it's like right up there in the oceans by the Scandinavian countries, the happiest country in the world. So the happiest country in the world, Denmark, Faroe Islands, Greenland, those are part of the Denmark Empire, which is kind of shocking to hear that Denmark is an empire. And then Portugal, which is legalized all drugs or decriminalized all drugs for about 20 years now. Then you have Italy, Poland, Cyprus, I mentioned Cyprus, Latvia, Germany, the Nazis, not even the Nazis beat the shit out of their kids. Even the Nazis said, you know what, maybe violence against our own flesh and blood is not that's not good. Violence, isn't that like one of the worst crimes out there? You got murder, you got rape, maybe stealing, slavery's oppressive. But violence? I'm sure if you smacked a parent right in the mouth, right, they'd have a problem with that. Wait, what are you smacking me for? Well, you were smacking an innocent little being that didn't even know why you were smacking it. And it loves you dearly. And it would listen to you. All you had to do is just talk to it, is explain yourself. They would listen, and it would learn. And you both would be tighten that. Okay. So Croatia, Bulgaria, Israel, who's killing Palestinians right now. Even Israel doesn't beat their kids. Turkmenistan, Iceland. Iceland is just an absolute progressive wonderland. They got a, environmentalist as the prime minister. Bunch of shit. They threw the bankers in jail. Iceland's pretty fucking cool. Ukraine, Romania, Hungary, Greece, the Netherlands. All right, the Netherlands, the Dutch, Uruguay, where they legalized weed with that one guy, that poor man's president. He's like, why does anybody elect the rich? Why would anybody elect the rich to lead their country? Oh, you're rich. You must know exactly what we go through. Chile, which we had a coup d'etat there, but they, Spain. Hey, finally. Spain's getting on the map for being something more than just a bunch of Spanish conquistador raping barbarian sons of bitches. Togo, Costa Rica, Moldova, they just had a Twitter revolution not 15 years ago. Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, Tunisia, another revolutionary country. Kenya, where Obama was born. Republic of Congo, the Republic. I think there's a republic and a democratic republic. Both are big. Albania, South Sudan. They were just engaged in a civil war. North Macedonia, Cabo Verde, Honduras. Coup d'etat, the Obama-Hillary coup d'etat Honduras. Malta, Brazil, where that right-wing son of a bitch is. Bolivia, Bolivia is a great example of, they're a poor country and they're socialist and they're doing pretty good. Their economy is booming. A socialist country and the economy is booming. Argentina, they banned corporal punishment 2016. San Marino, Nicaragua, Estonia, Andorra, and Benin. And then Ireland. So when y'all celebrated St. Patrick's Day, were you like, you know what? The Irish, when it comes to corporal punishment, they got it down. They got it down pat. Beat your fucking kids. It's your own flesh and blood. How many chances do you get to, carry on a new generation? Peru, Mongolia, Peru, Montenegro, Paraguay, Aruba, Jamaica, Slovenia, Lithuania, Nepal, South Africa, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. There's some, so for Scotland believes that corporal punishment for those under 3 years of age should be illegal. Of course. Why the fuck are you hitting a 3-year-old kid? The kid don't even have consciousness. He has no idea why it's getting hit. He has no idea. And in 2017, there was rumors about the Scottish government going to ban all corporal punishment. In Northern Ireland, it's illegal to hit a child upon the head. You can't hit a kid on the head, right? If you're going to use violence, it has to be some sort of, it's got to be professional. It's got to be, you can't just willy-nilly just, attack children. What kind of fucking society would allow grown-ass men and women just to go around attacking children? What kind of fucking society would allow something like that? Jesus Christ. A psychotic society, that's for sure. It's a good thing that child abuse is illegal in America. It is illegal, which is amazing. It's illegal. So England banned bruising or putting marks on children. So when it comes to people trying to toe the line, well, to me it almost feels like that's all people give a shit about. Especially your religious pieces of shit. Your religious piece, you gotta beat that shit into their head. They're not gonna, what? That makes no sense where you shut your fucking mouth and you believe it. Oh, okay. And that might get you if you're small, but God, then you'll just believe every asshole that fucking threatens you. Well, he did threaten me. He must be telling the truth. So Sweden in 1966, it was the first nation to ban corporal punishment altogether. And in all, the juvenile jail, in the home, and in the school. A lot of these would ban corporal punishment in the schools first, and then ban corporal punishment throughout society. In 1966, what Sweden did was that corporal punishment was pulled out of the Constitution. So essentially, it wasn't legal, but it wasn't illegal. So they pulled it out of the Constitution, and that's like a de facto versus de jure. Right, so, we don't do corporal punishment anymore, but there was no punishment, so there was no enforcement of the damn thing. In 1958, they had already banned school punishment first, and then, 8 years later, they banned it, or they pulled it out of the Constitution, and then on July 1st, 1979, these are all, relatively in modern history. So not 40 years ago, they're the first country. So Sweden, is, they had an amendment to the Parenthood Guardianship Code, and it said this: children are entitled to care, security, and a good upbringing. Care, security, not violence upon their little bodies, and a good upbringing. Children are to be treated with respect for their person and individuality, and may not be subjected to corporal punishment or any other humiliating treatment. Finland, there's school corporal punishment is outlawed 1914. So Finland outlawed, the school, the teachers slapping people with rulers. They outlawed that in 1914. Over 100 years ago. So Finland was on it. And then, just like Sweden, corporal punishment's removed from the Constitution in 1969. So Sweden was 66, and then Finland, right? They're right there, sisters and brothers. So they're like, well, that's a good idea. Let's quit beating the shit out of innocent human beings that didn't do shit to anybody, who's also going to carry on our legacy and our namesake and our blood to, for the rest of the, so till the end of all time, right? Aren't you trying to outlive yourself? Children are to be treated. Okay, so Finland, 1914, it's removed, or it's school corporal punishment's outlawed. 1969, corporal punishment's removed from the Constitution, and then 1983, it's explicitly banned. So after 1983, there is no more corporal punishment throughout the land of Finland. Norway, 1936, school corporal punishment's banned explicitly. 1972, they again take out an 1891 corporal punishment law that was removed from the Constitution. So it's, back to back to back. Sweden, 1966. Finland, 1969. Norway, 1972. So 3 years after, Sweden bans corporal punishment, they pull it out of the Constitution because it's enshrined in the Constitution, right? The Constitution, which is supposed to say freedom and, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We're all born equal, equal liberty, equal freedom. So, in the Constitution, unless you're a kid, then, you're going to get slapped around. So, Norway, it was removed from the Constitution, so essentially it's not legal or illegal, but assault is illegal. You can't assault people. You cannot go around hitting people. I guess with the legal system, you have to prove it. So if there's marks, or if there's witnesses, if there's videotape. In 2005, Norway had legalized a light slap. It's okay to lightly give them a little tap. A light slap was okay per the Supreme Court of Norway, 2005. Then the legislature banned it in 2010. The current law is that violence includes light slaps. They're prohibited. You cannot hit people. Don't hit people. Jesus Christ. Emile Jean-Jacques Rousseau said there's only one rule he's going to give to his kid as they're growing up, and that's to do no harm to other people. So, no, you can't hit people. You can't rob them. You can't take a shit in your hand and smear it all over their faces. So, it feels weird to say it out loud, but yeah, violence is pretty shitty. It's an assault. What the fuck is wrong with you assholes? Jesus fucking Christ. Austria, 1974, corporal punishment in schools outlawed. 1977, corporal punishment in the home outlawed when section from Constitution was removed. 1989, corporal punishment of children was explicitly banned through a new law that stated using violence and inflicting physical or mental suffering is unlawful. Unlawful? What does that mean, being lawful? Lawful? Abusers don't know what lawful means. They don't listen to the law. They're making their own goddamn fucking rules. Might is right. Violence works. That's what abusers are saying to their children. So, yeah, even Austria, no, Norway, you can't even lightly slap kids. So whereas Northern Ireland says you can't hit them on their head, and then I want to say England says no bruises or scratches, so as long as you don't leave a mark, it's okay. But Norway says even a light slap is illegal. I mean, can you lightly slap, right, some asshole, some fucking dickhead who's just being rude to you, can just lightly, hey, don't be rude. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess in some respects, right, the judicial system, another thing that bugs me is that in the judicial system, you'll get fined, you'll get thrown in jail, you might even get executed, right, if you do a heinous enough crime. But they don't slap you, they don't spank you, they don't humiliate you, So there's no, in Singapore, that one guy was caught caned he was, I don't know, broke some petty law, and then they caned him, so they spanked him with a fucking rod in the middle of the courtroom. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. What's good for the innocent? What's good for the tiny little innocent, you know, children that wouldn't, whatever. Why isn't it good enough for the adults? James Holmes, he killed all those kids in Aurora, that Batman movie. So he gets a name, right? He gets, people talk about him. People, oh, remember that James Holmes shot all those people? But who was the people that shot? They were just victims. And they were kids. And, you know, since 80% of the country believes in corporal punishment, 80% of those kids are probably getting smacked. Not just light slaps, but hit, spanked, hit, thrown around. And then they got shot up. I mean, is might is right? Violence works. Is that so shocking that somebody you beat the shit out of looks at violence and says, you know what? That's pretty effective. Hitler got his ass kicked as a kid. And there's this one passage in his book where he was getting spanked and he just took it like a man. I think a man would, you know, not take it. A man would, you know, beat the shit out of the one that's beating them up. So, where are we at now? Denmark, 1985. Parents' right to corporal punishment is outlawed. I have a right to beat my kids. They're my kids. I own them. I can beat them if I want to. You know, there's the thing about that is, yeah, it's your kid, it's your family, you know, mind your business. But it's also your kid goes and out there, you know, and hurts my kid. Well, fuck that kid. You can't hurt my kid, because you can't raise your kid in a peaceful and loving environment. Now it's going around hurting everybody else. That's when it becomes my problem. That's when it's my problem. So I think it would make sense for society to, you know, it takes a village. It would make sense for society to just knock that shit off. Knock the shit off. Fucking shit. Faroe Islands, Greenland, Portugal, Cyprus, Italy. Oh, no, actually Denmark. Okay, so Denmark. They passed a new law in 1985 that said to protect their child from physical or psychological violence and other humiliating treatment. 1997, and even more explicit laws passed. The child has a right to care and security. They have a right to security. It must be treated with respect for its person. So it's a thing? No, it's got to be treated with respect for its person. Yeah, it's a child, so it doesn't have the adult, you know, the rights of adults, but it has the rights of children. So, you know, it makes sense for that to be its own field. But it must be treated with respect for its person and must not be subjected to corporal punishment or other humiliating treatment. Italy, 1928, corporal punishment in schools banned. 1996, Supreme Court of Italy ruled that physical punishment is no longer an acceptable way to discipline children. 1996, Italy, right? Fucking Mussolini, the birthplace of fascism. Where the goddamn Catholic fucking Pope is. Yeah, you better beat your kids. They're not going to be Catholic if you're not beating those kids. You better be... Spoil the rod, you know, spare the rod, spoil the child, spare the rod, spoil the parent. I bet people are appalled by it. Hey, I'm allowed to hit my kid, then I'm allowed to beat the shit out of you. Whoa! Why are you getting all violent and crazy? No sense of hypocrisy, no sense of, you know, do unto others. Has any of you Christians ever heard, do unto others as you would have them do unto you? You ever heard that? So if you don't want violence to happen upon you, you don't want to be smacked around, spanked, and, you know, maybe you shouldn't do it through other people. I don't know, it's just, you know, suggestions. Take it or leave it. No, you better fucking take it, you fucking pieces. Oh, you abusive pieces of shit. So yeah, Italy, 1996, In 1928 is when they banned it in school. There's still places in America where they're hitting kids in school. That's an assault. You hit my kid, I'll take you to fucking... First I'll hit you, and then if you want to put charges on me, you'll get the same charges put on you. I don't know, maybe I should go the legal route first. But just the idea? You hit my kid? What the hell did my kid hit somebody? Well, maybe was it just? Was it like, no? He was talking in class? That's the reason you use what's wrong with talking? We're social beings. What do you mean talking? Oh, he's just supposed to sit on his ass and just be lectured at like a dumb fuck all day long? And not talk to any of his peers? That's going to hurt the relationship, isn't it? Poland is the first nation in the world to ban corporal punishment in school. 1783. 1783. The Polacks, right? I hate the Polack jokes because the Polack jokes come from Nazi Germany. They're, basically all those Polacks. Who cares? But Nietzsche said that the greatness of Germany is because of their Polish blood. So Poland, there's something about Poland. I like Scotland. I like Ireland. I like Poland. I like Germany. So Poland is the first nation in the world to ban corporal punishment in school. 1997, Article 40 of Poland's constitution said, no one may be subjected to torture or cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. We actually have that law in our constitution. You can't have, cruel or unusual punishments. You can't have any kind of cruel or unusual punishments. So I guess since it's like, society, it's not unusual, it's very, very usual. It's also very, very cruel. So that would go against the Constitution. Child abuse goes against not just morality and, the law. You can't, some corporal punishments allowed, the abuse is across the board illegal. So you're allowed to punish, just not abuse. There was one lady that told me in Kentucky that a police officer says you can hit your kids, you just can't leave any marks on them. So just don't leave any evidence. Alright, just pound them on top of the head. Right? Then nobody could tell. So that's nice, right? Hey, thanks, police officer. Oh, they're allowed to hit me as long as they cover up their fucking... Okay, nice, thanks. Thank you for telling them that. The application of corporal punishment shall be prohibited. That's Poland. Poland in 1997. And in 2010, a more explicit anti-corporal punishment law was passed. Latvia, some of these countries, Croatia, Bulgaria. Who would have thought, when you think of Bulgaria, you're like, you know what? Those Bulgarians, they love their kids. They really love their kids in Bulgaria. Now I do, right? Israel, Iceland, Ukraine, Romania, these countries love their kids. Love their kids. I do these holidays for revolutionary humanists sometimes, and essentially I just look at all the different holidays of the world and some scientific and historical events that are worthy of celebration. And I see Children's Day a lot in a lot of countries. A lot of countries has Children's Day. A lot of countries has Freedom Day. How come America doesn't have Freedom Day? We don't have any day where we're like, hey, let's celebrate freedom. And Children's Day, right? We don't have Children's Day either. So, Croatia, Bulgaria, Israel, Turkmenistan, Iceland, Ukraine, Romania, and Ireland, the Children First Act. The legislation is called the Children First Act. I absolutely love that. The Children First Act, 2015, 1997. Teachers were liable for prosecution if they were hitting the students. In Colorado, if there's one act of abuse in the schools, if there's one act of abuse, that teacher gets suspended, and until the investigation is over. But if there's an accusation of one single act of abuse, that's against the law. Well, you think it's okay to hit kids? Who gives a fuck what the fuck you think? It's illegal. You can't do that. If you're a teacher in Colorado. South Africa, 2017, all corporal punishment by adults upon tiny little innocent children, little innocent people called children, became prohibited. 1996, school corporal punishment and in the penal system, so in the juvenile jail and in the schools it was banned. Common law outlawed corporal or allowed it. Common law. There's no common law in Colorado either. But common law allowed corporal punishment. They're allowed to inflict moderate and reasonable chastisement. I don't remember any type of range, you know. They have like, hey, if there is abuse, if there is violence, then it must be done like this, this, and this. I don't remember that part. There is no code when it comes to corporal punishment. It was, hey, whatever kind of violence that I feel like putting upon you right now, that's just what's going to happen. And you're just going to have to love it. So Scotland, for those who are 3 years of age and under, which isn't just fucking sick to think about. Like maybe, you know, even a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, they might, you know, go around, put their finger in a socket or hit some other kid or something. They may, you know, they may do something bad. But to think that a 3-year-old baby, to think that a 2-year-old or 1-year-old needs to get hit, hey, don't backtalk me. It's crying because there's something, you need to fix it. You need to go down the list. Hug it, love it, feed it, let it sleep. Or just use violence, and then it never tells you what the fuck is going on. And like I said before, Scotland looks like it's moving to ban all corporal punishment. That was supposedly 2017. And in Northern Ireland, it's illegal to hit a child upon the head. So for the last 3 minutes, I'm just going to mention some of the stuff that I went through and just sort of how it, affected me and how it affected my future relationships with these people. So I remembered a lot of violence. I remember violence every day, being terrorized every goddamn day. Say something wrong, right? Look at them wrong. Look at, them wrong. One was mainly the perpetrator, but the other one allowed it to happen. I remember being drugged through the house by my arm. I'm getting my legs all skinned up, getting lifted up, and just getting hit on the back. And I remember I didn't want to play Nintendo. I didn't want to play Nintendo one day. That's why that happened. I remember seeing my siblings, get just pulled up by their arm, little body, and it's not even hitting on the butt, but just hitting on the back and legs and just everywhere. And I remember, one of my siblings peeing all over themselves because they were so scared at it, and then she got yelled at because she'd peed on herself, and then being, the sibling, we weren't nice to her, we were not sympathetic to one another, being hit in the head for not drinking right, not eating right, for having elbows on the table. For manners is, some of the things, but just really annoying him in any way, eating my potatoes first, cutting up my meat in very small pieces. Hey! Stop cutting your damn meat so small. Making eye contact. Saying, hello everybody, my family, I love you all. Shut up. Pow! For getting a B on my, on my grades. Spanked, but hit, smacked in the head a bunch. Hit in the head. So Northern Ireland, it's illegal to hit in the head in Northern Ireland. So that's a step in the progressive direction. So, and, that hit me all over, really, the shoulder, pushed me down, tripping me. Food is thrown at me, drinks are dumped on me. Just constant controlling the asshole. I'm also mocked and laughed at, humiliated. Company would come over, and they like to call me a stupid-ass nickname. Hey, dipshit, how's it going, dipshit? We've been calling you dipshit all our lives, so we're going to keep calling you dipshit. I was bullied at school. But I wouldn't go tell them because they were pro-violence, right? So I had nobody to go to. It's just life. People are shitty and violence just happens to you. You get criminally assaulted at home. You get criminally assaulted at school. You get criminally assaulted at work. Fuck you. Just take all the world's abuse. But I also remember the reactions of my mother and siblings when I would get hit, and they'd just stare, stunned, shocked, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do. But they internalized that.